Hey, it's the Bowery Boys.
Hey.
Hey, this is the Bowery Boys. I'm Greg Young.
And I'm Tom Myers, and we hope that you're enjoying the Municipal Art Society Summit for New York City.
The city never sleeps, but it always changes. You're here today to discuss the ramifications of some of those changes and how best to keep the spirit of New York City alive.
Now, sometimes change feels like it's damaging New York City to the point that perhaps it could never recover. It's important to contrast what's happening in the city now with the changes that it's experienced in its long history.
Now, I usually hate when I'm looking to do something and somebody points out, there's an app for that. But in this case, well, there really is an app for that.
The Urban Archive is a veritable treasure chest of data, pulling together open records and map data with the digital collections of institutions like the Brooklyn Historical Society, the Museum of the City of New York, and the New York Public Library.
You can actually find yourself on a map and see historical images of the buildings around you. There's even a marvelous overlay feature where you can hold your camera up to the current occupant and fade it in and out with the historical image.
Trippy.
It's like ghosts of New York City's past, fading in and out in front of your very eyes.
And just in time for Halloween. Greg, why don't we check out a few historic images from the app and see how those same sites look today?
Sure, let's actually start with one near my current home, which is in Carroll Gardens, Brooklyn.
Okay, let's go there now.
The address is 527 Clinton Street in the year 1958.
This is like time travel.
I know.
Wow, well, as you can see, the building seems virtually unchanged, with the exception perhaps of a couple windows that have been bricked in on Lucre Street.
But you can still see the windows, which is pretty cool.
Okay, well, I'm going to take you to Soho. Let's go to 109 Prince Street in 1975.
Wow, that is a cast iron beauty. And I would say virtually unchanged, although it's interesting. The archive image, you can see some neon lights and some air conditioning units because there's obviously some central air and not to mention a lot of Ralph Lauren fashions on the ground floor. Tom, let's head over to a very different location, up at 307 West 23rd Street, the location of Old Palmo's Opera House.
Oh, and that is at the northwest corner of 23rd and 8th Avenue. And in the photo, we see the Opera House, or the Grand Opera House, which by the time this photo was taken in 1937, was also showing some movies. I see, if you zoom in, you can see that they're showing Married Before Breakfast and something called Bank Alarm.
Today, of course, you can go there for a Texas-sized margarita down on the ground floor at Dallas Barbecue, and above it is Beth Israel Medical Group. Well, Tom, all of this theater has me in the mood for some drama, so let's go to an address from our last podcast.
Nice plug. On the history of Astoria and Long Island City. Where are we going specifically?
2-17 51st Avenue in Hunters Point.
Okay, a pretty industrial part of town, at least back in 1910 when the photo of this, power station was taken. What is it today?
Today, it's a luxury condo called the Powerhouse. This was indeed the original Powerhouse, which was designed by McKim, Mead & White. Today, of course, it's filled with power lawyers in the Powerhouse.
Well, Greg, let's head from here up to the Bronx, specifically the Kingsbridge neighborhood at 5614 Broadway.
Though this is a dramatic transformation because, as pictured, that is from the 1910s.
1907 specifically.
1907.
Yeah, the shot shows when they were actually surveying Broadway before the elevated rail was built.
Today, as you can see, there is the elevated line that's still there and a host of buildings that did not exist back in 1907.
Although if we examine that photograph, we believe that the buildings that are shown on the right side of that photo from 1907, some of those buildings are still there today.
Well, Tom, let's go down to the Meatpacking District, in particular, 20 10th Avenue.
Okay, going downtown, and what we see when we get there, we still see the High Line structure behind it. So that's been preserved, and half the block is still there, but it looks like half the block is missing.
And it's also a bit overshadowed by the Standard Hotel and its array of artisanal cocktails.
Well, now, Greg, for a little Victorian charm, let's take the ferry to Staten Island, specifically to 4500 Arthur Kill Road in Staten Island, to visit the Kreischer Mansion.
Now, as you can see today, it is almost virtually unchanged. It's like a little bit of a time capsule. In fact, the only things that are different is that lovely little fence in front of it is gone, and it has been obscured with foliage so that you can no longer see it from the street. And finally, for some true iconic change, let's go to 33rd and 5th Avenue.
I love this photo from the app of the Waldorf Astoria Hotel, or specifically in this photo from 1901, the Waldorf Hotel, the southernmost half of the Waldorf Astoria.
And of course, that building would be replaced during the Great Depression by the Empire State Building.
That's so interesting, and we're just getting started. So now let's just check out.
Tom.
Yeah.
It's time to leave. They have to get back to the summit now.
Oh, right, of course. So, well, summit goer, we would strongly suggest that you check out the new Urban Archives apps because it is a wonderful way to experience the city's before and after history.
And of course, listen to the Bowery Boys podcast to enhance your experience of these places.
Nice. Thank you to the Municipal Art Society for inviting us to speak to you today.
And have a great New York week, whether you live here or not.
See you real soon.